Hello everyone, welcome to It Doesn't Work. I'm Plasmaster, and joining me today is
Me. Yes.
Frosty Flytrap.
Oh, we're playing Ben 10
Yeah,
thing.
Critical Impact. This is a game that I played a bit when I was but a young boy.
It was what a wee lad.
A wee lad, yeah. Um, and I decided to just kind of go back to it, and I figured, you know what? Why not make an It Doesn't Work video out of it? So this is an endless game.
Ah.
So it's just all about getting the high score. Um, it's also a pretty simple game. Not a whole lot to it. This might not end up being a very long video, but
Yeah, we'll see how far we
yeah,
go.
it
It's
just
endless. Also,
yeah.
can I just say in the menu, there's missed opportunity to use the font impact for a
Oh
critical
yeah,
impact.
yeah. Um, so there's a meteor shower. Um,
A meat shower.
oh no. If you get hit by meteors or you miss any meteors, your health bar will suffer. But you can grab these little pickups to replenish your health. Um, so let's just get started. By the
Okay.
way,
Oh.
I love the music in this game. The music in this game is pretty great for a Flash game. So right now we're just using Heat Blast to destroy these meteors. There are going to be things that come up that will force us to. Yeah, here we go. I have to turn the Ghost Freak to phase through that, and then we can go back into Heat Blast.
This is essentially like a bullet hell,
Kind
but
of is,
disguised
yeah.
as like running.
Yeah, it's a very slow-paced bullet hell.
Also, I remember this game now. I saw this in like school before.
Oh,
Like a
really?
bunch of kids playing this. Yeah, that's so weird. I'm seeing something that I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm triggering a lot of memories.
Wow. So you can actually destroy multiple meteors with just one shot because
Oh, like a chain
if they're
reaction
close
happens.
if they're close enough to each other, they will explode and destroy
Okay.
nearby ones.
No, I was gonna say it kind of looks like the meteors are just hovering above the ground, just based on the shadow.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of funny. Either that or this whole game's happening in slow motion.
Yeah. I mean, these are some pretty slow-moving meteors from what I can see. The controls, at least for moving left and right, are a little bit, I guess, slippery is the best word to use.
Yeah.
You
It
kind
definitely
of have
looks
to, you have to,
like there's not much friction in the
yeah, and so
controls.
you can end up like overcorrecting if you're not careful.
Yeah.
So I'm just using like little taps to like move left and right rather than holding down the button. Be careful about that. Okay. This is actually the best I've ever done at this game. Right now, I usually die by now. Hope that doesn't like jinx it or anything, but like, pretty impressed with myself right now. I gotta say, for doing as well as I am. I think it's because this is the first time I've like properly played the game with my method of. Ooh. Man, that was good.
Your current strategy.
Oh gosh, yeah. With my, oh gosh, that was really bad.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Oh wow. I didn't even see the health bar there.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question. How long does the Ghost Freak ability last?
As long as you need, you can actually stay as long as you want.
Okay. But you don't want to do that. So okay.
Yeah, because you can't actually destroy meteors.
Because you can't
As him, so
ghost trick the meteors.
yeah. So I'm not sure if this game really has like a scaling system
end
for
roll.
its difficulty.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you had a bit of difficulty
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it definitely did throw a lot of meteors at me at once. On my last at the end of my last run, I was not able to keep up with that.
Yeah, that's like the standard Space Invaders difficulty curves.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, this is just one variation of Space Invaders.
Yeah.
Did the shockwaves hurt you or anything, or
No.
is it just the effect? Okay. Don't put all these barricades here.
Gosh. Yeah, I gotta talk to whoever's been putting up these barricades because it's very inconvenient.
Oh.
Took a little bit of
Why do
damage
you
there.
lose health if you miss a meteor, or is it like a different health bar?
I think the idea is that
Oh, the
the
red?
health of Earth suffers.
Oh. So which episode does this correspond to?
No episode actually. There is no episode of Ben 10 that this is based on.
He's always fighting aliens, not alien rocks. Well, non-sentient alien rocks.
That's actually something that I find I kind of struggle with my own superheroes. Be sure to check out my superheroes. I
Plug.
write stories. Yeah. That like usually the stories will boil down to like, oh, bad guy does things, superhero has to fight bad guy, and that's it. I don't usually put my superheroes in situations where it's like, okay, there's like a runaway train and you have to like stop the train from hitting people, or like somebody is dying and you have to use your powers to heal them, or something like that. I don't really do that, and I'm hoping to remedy that in my
Yeah, it's
more
pretty interesting to have
recent
like,
stories.
yeah, to have like a conflict without I don't know, pursuer or like adversary of
Yeah.
evil. Makes up for some interesting storytelling thing.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a big one.
That's my way of saying missed opportunity, Ben 10. Where's the meteor saving episode?
Well, I think Ben 10 is pretty good about doing that,
Yeah.
particularly
Yeah,
in
just
the
kidding.
original series. Like, there's actually an episode where there's like a rock slide, and he has to like stop the rock slide from hitting some people that are at the bottom of the mountain. So stuff like that, where it's like, good on you. You know, you were creative with the situations you're putting your hero in. And I think it doesn't even just go like it doesn't. It's not even just for superheroes. It extends to all sorts of protagonists. You know, be creative with the problems that you make your protagonists face, because overcoming hardship is what makes protagonists compelling to read about. Oh,
Yeah.
I missed one.
I bet you viewers didn't expect to get storytelling advice on this Ben 10 episode.
yeah, really.
It looks like the bigger rocks have bigger shockwaves,
They
so it's
do,
kind
yeah.
of advantageous to shoot them when they're in a cluster. Also, if you're being overwhelmed, it looks like you can just afford to lose one. It's really not a big deal, as long as you focus on most of them.
My health is getting real low. Fortunately, the health pickups.
Oh yeah. Oh,
fully
they actually
replenish
full
you.
heal.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not like a partial heal. It's a full thing. So if you get lucky enough to find a health pickup when you're low on health, you can continue going on for quite a while.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was good. Not to pat myself on the back or anything, but.
Like that.
Uh-oh.
Do you think there's any other alien that Ben has that he could use in this situation?
From the original series, Diamond
Yeah.
Head possibly.
Hmm.
He could create diamond spires to shield the Earth from the falling meteors.
With a diamond dome.
Yeah. I mean, he canonically is able to create domes of diamond. He's done it before. So, yeah, that could work. Yeah, that was pretty much. I would say maybe forearms could like punch the rocks or something, but I don't know. If there's this many meteors, then it might be too much for him to handle.
Yeah, maybe a combination of forearms and accelerate, but that's not a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Because like
you
speed.
in the actual show, he cannot transform from alien to alien in the original
Yeah.
series, with the exception of one episode where he gains a master control of the Omnitrix and is able to shift between forms and can stay in alien form for as long as he needs to. So this game most likely takes place during a time when he
after that.
has master control. In case anybody hasn't figured it out yet, I'm a total Ben 10 nerd.
Yeah. I know
watched
very
the
little
show
about it.
when I was quite young, and I'm a huge nerd for it.
Yeah, as for me, I've watched a few episodes of it when I was on TV. I haven't watched the entire series, so
Yeah.
there are bits and pieces of my knowledge. Let's see. Oh, that was
Yeah,
a
that
tough
was bad.
one.
Oof. Health, please.
Right next to the. Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, that was
It was like a
close.
domino.
Yeah. That one. Yes, health. Get that.
Healing.
That was close. I almost missed it. And you actually will, you'll take damage as well if you touch the barricades.
Alright, I was gonna ask.
So you definitely want to make sure that you don't miss those. Although sometimes it's kind of annoying because, it's kind of annoying because sometimes they'll have meteors that are like really close to the barricades, and you can't transform halfway through the barricade, or you'll get hit by the barricade.
Yeah.
So it's
It's a bit of a timing thing.
Yeah.
You know, this game is pretty simple, so I don't think they really
Right.
put that into consideration. It's like a random thing that happens eventually.
Exactly.
It's gonna kill you. It's like you can't beat Tetris essentially.
yeah.
It's too fast. Yeah,
Although you
I always
can
got
beat
freaked out by it.
Apparently, you can beat Pac-Man though.
Yeah, but you know, it leads to this glitched mode, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say like yeah, Ghost Freak's design. It's always like creeped me out how like a flesh ghost
Yeah.
looks like. Like you're like ethereal but also fleshy.
Yeah, and what you actually see of him in the show when Ben transforms into him is actually a second layer of skin that is over the actual alien.
I think I remember that,
Yeah,
but I don't remember what it looks like.
yeah. They do eventually reveal what Ghost Freak looks like underneath it, but that's not until, well,
Skin
spoilers,
reveal.
he loses Ghost Freak from the watch.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But now he's Ben 9. That doesn't rhyme.
Well, by the time
He gets a
lost
replacement,
Ghost
I
Freak,
guess.
he actually did get a replacement
Yeah.
alien.
A trade-off.
He actually got two at that point. Cannonbolt and Wildline.
You know, that just made me think of like an RPG where like the aliens are kind of like classes,
yeah.
and like you could trade in types of aliens, like so that you can only have 10 in your Omnitrix.
Yeah, it would be interesting
And like,
if that was how it worked.
yeah,
Oh,
and they're kind of like, I don't know, Pokemon abilities. You can like forget them, or something kind of like that.
I've heard
The way
like,
you describe.
theories that like the Pokemon aren't actually forgetting the moves. It's just that competitive Pokemon leagues only allow for your Pokemon to use 4 moves, and so
Like in game, in story.
yeah, like in the lore
Yeah.
of the world, and so
Sorry, I asked that as if I thought like Pokemon was an esport or something.
and so it's the only reason they are limited to 4 moves is because of like competitive reasons, like competitive fairness for Pokemon battles. But
Like in
I
the
don't know if
show.
that's actually true.
In the show, do they actually have Pokemon that use more than 4 moves? I don't know. I don't know if people have kept track of that. It's like maybe there are some exceptions, and then there's like the thing that people theorize all about on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was a
Nice chain reaction there.
Too bad most of it was off screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that again. I wonder how far ahead it generates the meteors.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be interesting to. I mean, I'm playing this on.
I mean, there's a way to find out, but you probably shouldn't check it out while recording. You can like rescale the aspect ratio to make it
that's
vertical.
what I was thinking.
And you could do that at the very end if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna do it on camera. There we
On
go.
screen. It's perfectly lined up rubble.
You can actually see there's a red meter
Yeah.
as well, and that is my like firepower meter. If I spam
Oh.
the fireballs, then it can get too low, and then I can't fire my.
Oh,
thing.
okay,
So they
sorry, I
actually did
assumed-
account for you just spamming.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's cool. There's like
There
a
we go.
cooldown. I actually assume that the red meter was like the Earth health.
No.
Apparently, yeah, I'm mistaken.
now
But there's
you
like
see,
2
each
health
time I
bars
fire,
against each other.
it does go down a little bit. Oh man, how did I miss that?
It's just slippery.
Yeah, the controls, they're a little slippery.
Oh, I just realized I missed the opportunity to make a benign joke with the Ben 9.
Oh man, that was really bad.
I mean, I guess like Pokemon and Ben 10 have a lot of things in common, like the variation of creatures,
Yeah.
and I think that's it. I don't know, like was I can't tell if I was trying to make a comparison to Pokemon or Lilo and Stitch.
I mean, that you can make comparisons to that as well.
Yeah.
Actually, the reason I got into Ben 10 is because of Lilo and Stitch. Because I used to I used to draw and cut out little paper crafts of Lilo and Stitch experiments that I made up, like fan-made ones.
Oh wow.
And then
That's
my
nice.
dad, oh gosh, that was really bad. My dad threw all the paper crafts out that were in my closet.
Oh no.
And I just came home from school one day, and I was like really upset. But I still loved Lilo and Stitch. And from that point forward, I was just like, all right, I'm not gonna cut them out. I'm just gonna keep them
And the notebook.
in the notebook. Yeah. And so I actually still have notebooks full of Lilo and Stitch creatures and Ben 10 aliens that I had drawn, and Pokemon as well. And I will actually consult those when I need ideas for alien creatures to put in my stories. So all that time spent as a kid drawing all this stuff, I actually numbered them as I went.
Wow.
And I have, I believe over 3,600 drawings.
600.
Yeah.
I mean, like over almost 4,000.
Almost
drawings
4,000
of-
drawings, yes.
Wow.
Um,
You know, I don't know how many drawings I've made in my life, but
not that many.
that's a lot.
Yeah. Oh man.
I mean, I draw a lot, but I don't label them, so I wouldn't know.
Right. I
Oh, man,
labeled
it-
them just for the sake of keeping track.
But yeah, that's interesting. I kind of wish I had known how many drawings I've made in total. It would be interesting.
Yeah. So I just kept them in the notebook. And my mom knew that I was like really into like Lilo and Stitch and like alien characters and stuff. And one time I saw a commercial for a toy of the RV that Ben and his grandfather and cousin travel around in the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, that looks interesting. What is that? And my mom told me like, it's from a show called Ben 10. And I was like, what's that? And she explained it to me, and I was like, that sounds awesome. And so
your mom got you into Ben 10?
Yeah,
That's
my
awesome.
mom got me into Ben 10. And I actually went onto like video on demand, and I looked up Ben 10, and they only had 2 episodes available, and they were from season 2. It was I believe episode 18 of the series overall. It was Grudge Match, and it had Kevin 11 in it when he was a mutant. So my first introduction to Ben 10 was seeing Ben and Kevin 11 fight, and I was like, I don't know who this Kevin 11 character is, but he's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a pretty good introduction.
Yeah. And like I've
something to look forward to when you watch the whole thing.
I've showed the Ben 10 series to friends over the years. My friend Darth and I right now are actually pretty close to finishing the entire saga.
Nice. The original series?
No, the
the new one.
No, not the reboot. So Ben 10 has 4 series in its original continuity. Those are Ben 10, Ben 10 Alien Force, Ben 10 Ultimate Alien, and Ben 10 Omniverse. And all of those together are called by the fans the original Ben 10 saga.
I was gonna say the Ben 10-iverse, but that's better name.
Oh gosh. My friend Darth and I are very, very much nearing completion of the whole thing. We're on the last series. We're on Omniverse. We're almost done with it. And something that I always tell my friends, like, when we get to it is, I tell them when we get to episode 18, Grudge Match, I tell them this is the first episode I saw of the show. And so this was like my introduction into it. And I kind of explain like how that's kind of affected like
your expectations?
I don't know. It's like I didn't start with the origin of the character.
Yeah.
And so like my ideas about the character were a little bit different from maybe their ideas of it when first watching the series.
I mean, to be fair, the on television, you can hop in on any episode that's airing.
Yeah.
And not everyone's gonna make it to the first episode to begin with, especially like at the beginning when it's probably not super popular.
Right.
So the majority of people will like be jumping right into the middle, and it's good that they're able to like make it so that you don't need to know exactly what happened at the beginning. It's still enjoyable.
Right. That's what I try to do with my own stories, because Ben 10 is very much an inspiration for me. That and the Marvel movies are big reasons why I enjoy superhero media so much, and why I've gotten into writing my own superhero stories. And so, like, what I try to do is I try to write my stories so that people can just kind of hop in at any time and not feel completely lost. Like they can still enjoy it despite not knowing like the specific origins of.
Yeah, it's not essential to the heart of the story.
Right. But I also feel that good stories reward people who have been longtime
Yeah.
fans, and so I try to put in stuff like that as well, where it's like
Token of appreciation.
yeah, where it's like if you are in on it and you do know certain things from having read from the start, then you might be able to like kind of make guesses and theories about where you think a story will go, just based on your past knowledge and experiences with it. Oh gosh, a lot of meteors there. Oh man.
Clutch. Oh.
Believe it or not, when I when I started playing a Ben 10 game for this episode, I did not expect us to talk so much about Ben 10. Imagine that.
Surprised Pikachu.
Yeah. Also, every time it's because the screen is scrolling. Every time.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like when it stops, it like moves.
Yeah.
Like the entire the high score screen becomes like going upwards all of a sudden.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, it becomes one of those optical.
It's an interesting illusion. Yeah. I get the same effect when I stare at movie credits for too long.
Yeah.
Although in that case, it's like the opposite, because usually the credits come from below. There's a film that I watched. It's like a time travel film where they did a bit of a funny thing where they had the credits come from the top instead.
Wow.
I don't know what it is. That Primer or something? I don't know. I feel like it's Primer. So what are your thoughts on the whole Ben 10 can beat up Superman and Goku?
I mean, I love Kuro the artist and his work. He's the guy who originally made that video. Like, I'm a little bit conflicted on it because part of me wants to be like, yeah, of course he can. Like, he's awesome. But there's also a part of me that's like, you know, I don't want him to become like a character who's known for being overpowered. Because, at least in my experience, overpowered characters are typically not as interesting to follow. So, yeah.
I mean,
I'm a
with the
little
exception of like,
conflicted about that.
yeah, with the exception of like, if the power comes with a great cost, right?
Right.
Like Alien X. It's like,
Oh yeah.
you gotta get it's a democracy alien.
Yeah, like, there's even like something with Ghost Freak is that the DNA of the consciousness of the alien actually exists right down to a single strand of its DNA, and so when the DNA donor for Ghost Freak's DNA sample for the Omnitrix gave his DNA sample, his consciousness was trapped inside of the Omnitrix with it.
Oh wow.
And so there's also stuff like that where it's like the cost of Ben having these powers is that he has to essentially imprison another consciousness with him. And the show does like lots of really interesting stuff with exploring unique ideas with his powers and everything. And I think that's part of the reason why it's such an inspiration to me, because I've seen how creative you really can get with a superhero character.
There's a lot of variation as well with like essentially like Bennett is essentially like a a sorcerer that has 10 spells, right?
Yeah,
While other superheroes are like 1 or 2,
right.
2 at most. So it's pretty interesting that you have like a superhero that can essentially has the power of all 10, but only 10 minutes at a time,
Right.
and 1 at a time.
One at a time, right.
1 at a time for 10 minutes. Sounds like I'm reading a recipe book. But yeah, the thing about the like he could like, what would he have to do to even get Superman or Goku's DNA? Like, I feel like the challenge of even getting that to begin with is already difficult.
In the later series, he's actually able to scan their DNA from afar, so he doesn't necessarily have to like ask them for a DNA sample. He can just take it without their permission. So
yeah, well, while we were sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I wasn't really gonna say anything. I was
I
just
was gonna
gonna
say,
say,
while we were watching Alien Force the other day, I think one of us mentioned like he turns into a plant or something. Not like swamp fire, but like an actual plant, or banana. Yeah, I think I said banana or whatever.
Yeah.
That got me wondering, like, can he actually turn to a banana? Like, if he scans the DNA.
Say that. The same guy who made the Ben 10 Can You Beat Anybody video just released a video a few weeks ago detailing what exactly Ben is able to
transform into
with the Omnitrix.
Okay.
One of the rules that was mentioned was that the species has to have some form of sentience. So a banana, as funny as it would be, will not be accepted by the Omnitrix as a viable DNA sample.
It's like the Pokeballs can't absorb humans thing,
right?
Or catch humans.
And like they actually like went through like a list of examples in the video. They said like, yeah, Ben could transform into most Pokemon, and he could transform into like the crystal gems from Steven Universe.
It's kind of weird because I'm not sure those are DNA based, but okay.
Right.
Although then again, it's Diamond and DNA based.
Yeah. So yeah, they provided like some really interesting examples in there.
Because like if he can turn into a creature that isn't DNA based, then he could probably turn into a silicon based alien, right? That doesn't use DNA.
There are at least two silicon based aliens in the Omnitrix. Those being Echo Echo and Chromastone. But they still have DNA, so
yeah.
You know, it works.
I don't know how, but it works.
Yeah. Something that's actually interesting is that Ben's grandmother, Verdona, is an Anodite, which is an energy-based cosmic being, alien to Earth. And he actually is not able to transform into an Anodite with the use of the Omnitrix because Anodites don't have DNA.
Right.
Energy-based. Which kind of begs the question, how did an Anodite reproduce with a human? But I'm not gonna get into that. That's
It's like you know, kind of like in Greek mythology when gods have children with the with the mortals.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
And then their children are demigods.
Yeah, Zeus was he was sleeping around with like everybody and everything.
Oh gosh.
Like,
everything. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like if an energy being has the ability to like manifest itself in a physical form that you can see, then I think anything
Yeah.
is possible at that point. You just like replicate whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why I was kind of curious about the whole silicon-based life thing is like I guess he can't. Well, it is gosh, what's the name of the machine technology guy?
Upgrade.
Upgrade is Upgrade like biological, or is that also?
I think he's like half biological. Like half
A
biological.
cyborg.
Technological? I don't know what the proper term to use is, but
Yeah, I guess like mechanical or whatever.
mechanical, yeah. I need that health.
Because I guess that's the closest way for him to actually become a robot, right? Is
Yeah.
just get upgraded and like manipulate a robot with that.
Which is funny because there are actually some other aliens in the Omnitrix that have robotic qualities to them. And so it kind of irks me a little bit when I see him turn into them, because I'm like, I don't know, are they like biologically? I don't know. But I'm sure that.
I mean, I guess if they have DNA, right? It's the only rule.
Yeah, I mean, well, there were. Some
I
other
don't know how
rules,
I don't know how a diamond has DNA, but sure. I mean, I'm guessing the whole distance scanning DNA happens in like later series. I don't know, like Xenoverse or Omniverse.
He first appears to have that ability in Ultimate Alien.
Okay.
And I can't remember if he ever uses it in Omniverse, but that's not to say that he doesn't have it. Maybe he just didn't need it.
Too proud to use that.
Yeah.
Also, it's probably too OP to write that into a story.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I'm trying to like avoid like power creep for my own characters. I mean, you actually said to me once, I think, about my character Gabriel, like, how are you going to avoid him becoming too powerful if he has powers of an angel?
Yeah.
And my answer to that was actually inspired by Ben 10. I was like, give him a time limit. Give him an energy limit on his halo that he uses to use his powers, and make it so that he can't use his powers for too long. And I actually have an in-universe explanation for why there's even an energy limit as well. So if anybody wants to, give me flack about it, I can just point to, that reason.
So by energy limit, it's kind of like you mean like using RPG terms, like you use a certain amount of MP, like certain attacks have more power. It's not like a time limit thing. You can do things as long as possible, as long as the.
No,
if it's weak,
energy of the Halo decreases over time as he is transformed.
So just a natural decay. Yeah. Okay. But so if you're not using, there's like ambient power usage. But if you use like move real powerful powers while using the Halo, then it decreases the energy. Is that how it works?
Not necessarily, no.
Or decreases faster? I don't know.
I mean, to start out, I don't want to spoil too much for stuff that I haven't even written yet, but essentially, Gabriel will receive powers later on from various other angelic beings. And those powers don't necessarily come from the Halo, because he got them after he received the Halo. And so how it works is he actually has to like send a telepathic message to those other angels and ask them, hey, can you bestow that power upon me right now?
Lend me your
because I need
power.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could say no. I don't know if they would, because I don't know if they would ever have like a good reason not to help him out. But
Okay.
but yeah, essentially he has to ask for permission, which I know may sound a bit silly. I mean, it's kind of like Metroid.
Oh, that's pretty
Other
interesting,
M.
actually.
It's kind of like Metroid Other M, where like she already has all the weapons and upgrades, but she just isn't authorized to use them by her commanding officer. And so like you'll like approach an obstacle, and it's like, no, you can't use your grapple beam right now, Samus. It's not authorized. And then like
I mean-
later on, like she'll be in the middle of fighting a boss or something, and he'll be like, you may use your grapple beam, Samus. Like it's a little bit silly.
I mean, it's a bit of a case by case basis, right? Like, the only reason, like, it's interesting to have like the powers not given permission if it's like not appropriate for according to whoever supplies the power.
Right.
So I think that's a good idea, and maybe there's like a situation where you could have a disagreement ahead of time.
Yeah.
And so he's unable to achieve anything with that. But yeah, the one in Metroid is like pretty funny though. But yeah, there's just no reason why, other than for gameplay purposes.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
I do think it's different if it's gameplay, because with gameplay you actually have direct control of the character, and it can be frustrating to know that you have, like, quote-unquote, have that ability to do the thing, but the game just won't let you. Whereas if you're just reading a story about somebody, it's, you know, it's not as frustrating because you're like...
Yeah, it's not in your control.
Yeah, it's like, I'm
It's
not...
the
directly
character that
controlling
is
it.
finding out.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about video games as a storytelling medium is that it's really the only medium that's like a present tense storytelling experience. Because like films and books are all written in a past tense in a way, even if it's in the present tense perspective. You're like, you already know that something's gonna happen.
Right, because you're holding the book
In
in,
a
your
vid-
hand. Like,
Yeah. You just look at the end, you know, if
Yeah.
you wanted to, but like in a video game, it lasts as long as you want it to, right? And it's not gonna happen
I mean,
until
in
you
some
get
cases,
there.
Sure, yeah. There are like other games where it's like, you know, I know this is gonna end eventually, and those are typically like really heavily story-based,
Like story,
video
yeah.
games. Yeah. But I mean, look at something like Breath of the Wild. I mean, that game.
Yeah.
You know, you don't necessarily have. If you don't want to, you can just never go fight Ganon. You can just keep traveling and exploring and.
You just
and
chill
fighting
and, you know,
in
have
Hyrule and just
Zelda
forever.
hold off the evil
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah. You know, so you do have that choice. I wouldn't recommend that choice because my girl Zelda, you know, she needs some help now.
Yeah.
But you know.
Does Breath of the Wild have like a mode where you can play after it's finished,
It
or
does, yes.
no? Is there?
It basically it basically just like after the credits play and everything, it just sets you back like right before the final
Right
boss,
before the boss.
and then you can just choose to either fight him
okay.
again or leave and find something else to do.
I see. Okay, so in a way, you can sort of have like a post game gameplay, but you still know that Zelda is doing her all,
Yeah.
which is a little uncomfortable to leave her hanging like that.
Yeah. But with a
Just
book,
like, I think-
it's out of your control, you know, because it just like the most you can do is put the book down and just never pick it up again.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that the story isn't going to finish, because
It's already been done.
Yeah, it's already been done, and there are other people who are out there reading it.
Hmm. But yeah, I'd say that like the illusion is much stronger in a video game, even though like
Yes.
almost everything is scripted.
Hmm.
Like even in like procedurally generated games have a bit of a scriptedness
Yeah,
to them.
procedurally generated game like this one.
Oh yeah, it's
I
just
don't
like
know if
the
it's actually
simplest form.
I mean,
It is
it's
kinda.
close enough.
Yeah, it's the most basic form.
Yeah.
It's no Spelunky. Yeah,
Have
like
some help, please?
as you're being
There we go.
there, yeah, as you're being, I guess immersed in the world, you kind of forget where you're headed in a way sometimes,
Yeah.
because you're not being railroaded in a video game. No,
Right.
most of the time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because I feel like it's pretty recent that games are allowing for more freedom on the player's part. You know, with open world games gaining popularity.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I was also like
before,
thinking about
20. I don't know, like 2010. Before 2010, like there weren't too many open world games, and so, you know, it was more certain that, yeah, there's going to be a point in the game where I'm not going to have a choice and I'm going to have to move forward with the story.
yeah. I mean, like when I was talking about the whole immersion thing, I was thinking about Life is Strange. I don't know how familiar with the story of that.
Not at all. Not familiar
Yeah,
with it at
I'm
all.
just gonna say that-
I've heard about the game a lot, but I know next to nothing about it.
Like it's a story-based game, like it's almost a visual novel type, but it has a lot of like split branching decisions. Well, it's not like a real
Oh, like a
branch
Telltale
thing.
game?
Yeah,
Kinda
like
thing?
Telltale. That's
Okay.
like the closest thing you can compare it to. And like, unlike a Telltale game, it kind of has some puzzles in it, which is pretty interesting. And like, there's like a gameplay element to it, but there's also the story in the background that you're trying to, the whole mystery of the entire series that you're trying to figure out. And also your main character has time travel powers, which makes it a lot very interesting. Yeah, she can like rewind to like about a few minutes back, and she can use her future information to kinda like in the dialogue. Actually, that's actually such an interesting concept as well, because you get newer dialogue options if you time travel back from the future.
Right.
So like you can you said this secret in the future, but now I can go back to the past and say this. And like, oh, you're
Right.
surprised now.
Is it just
Yeah,
me,
like
or am I running into a lot more barricades than I was before?
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh.
feel like I am.
And specifically during the story-heavy moments where like you have to make very big decisions, like the immersion is so well done there that it's really heartbreaking. I won't say for the more specific scene, but there's
Right,
one really big scene that's like a little traumatizing for the player, because it's such like you could easily mess up there. And oh wow,
Oh, wow.
wait, what is this? Did you beat your high score?
I did, yes.
Yeah, oh nice.
Wow, by a lot. We'll do like 1 or 2 more runs.
Okay.
I die
Yeah,
immediately.
do your best.
3 more runs.
Like oh, what was I gonna say?
You were talking about Life is Strange?
Right. Yeah, like there's one choice that the player could easily mess up with, and like for the rest of the next episodes, you're gonna have to live with that choice, or not even a choice, but that mistake. It's really hard. It's kind of like, I guess, similar to in Heavy Rain, where Heavy Rain is like a game where any of the characters could die, any of the main characters could die, and then you just move on.
Is that the game
Without them.
where Sean comes from?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Jason.
I
Press F to Jason. Yeah.
I love the scene where he's chasing after the guy through the grocery store.
Oh my
and
God.
he keeps falling down.
I also
Oh,
love
man.
the glitch where, at the very end scene, there's a glitch where you can have the main character yell out Sean in the middle of a cutscene.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man.
Oh. Yeah, like Heavy Rain and like things like Telltale games, Heavy Rain and Life is Strange, like stuff like that with the branching choices thing. And that's another type of video game where it gives you a lot of freedom. It's not necessarily even an open world game or a sandbox game. It's just
Right.
that. Like yeah, as a storytelling medium, it's really interesting to be able to experience a story firsthand, instead of like from the perspective of a character that, you know, someone else wrote that you might not necessarily be able to relate to as much.
Right.
But when you have a link to the world, as your avatar to that world, it
Yeah.
feels a lot more real.
And the thing about like an avatar thing is that like it has to be executed properly. Because if you want to make a really like heavily story-driven game, it can be difficult to include an avatar character
Yeah.
without running into some major problems. I mean, Fire Emblem Fates is a big example of a time where they tried to make both an avatar character and a main character all in the same character.
Right.
And it ended up...
That's tricky.
Yeah, well, it ended up hurting the story a lot. The story of that game is not what I would call good. Oh man, kind of like my skills.
To put it
right there.
lightly, it's ungood.
To put it lightly, it sucks. There are other games like Xenoblade X where the avatar character isn't the main character, but like they're just kind of there, and it's like the story could be exactly the same if that character were never there at all.
Yeah, so you're just like an outside observer.
Yeah,
anyway.
and I feel like what you want to do is make a character who can kind of marry those two together, like kind of hit that sweet spot in the middle where the avatar character actually matters to the story, but not so much that it hurts the story.
Yeah, because there's always like going to be a conflict between the player and the character's motivations.
Yeah.
If the character has like actual motivations, but like if it's like an RPG where the protagonist has like they have their motivations obviously, but you're kind of railroaded in like a, well, not really railroaded, but kind of like you're in the story essentially. Like there's not much choice to move along, I guess. In like it's like situational, I guess.
Man, that was so bad.
Ooh.
Oh, the Mass Effect games are also kind of like Life is Strange, aren't
Oh
they?
yeah, right.
Yeah, that's
There's
another
like a
game.
choice system.
Yeah, it's another game series. It's like that.
I don't know much about it other than the dialogue
Neither do I.
options.
All I know is it takes place in space, and you have the option to have sex with every single character. I was I was talking about like the Bayonetta games. I think it was like last week. I was talking about them, and my brother comes in to the room, and he's like, "What are those games? What is that game rated?" And I said, "It's rated M for mature." And and he
Them from
yeah, and he asked me, "Is there a rating above mature?" And I told him no, but I know full well that there is.
yeah.
I just didn't want him to be exposed to it because the rating above M is, I believe, A.
Adult.
for adult, yes, and
Okay.
it is like with games that are rated A. I feel
Is it like
it no longer becomes
GTA?
about the gameplay. No,
Right.
GTA is rated M, I believe.
Oh,
No, games that are rated A are like porn games,
really?
where
Huh.
it's like
Wait, let me look this up. What's this rating system?
I believe it goes like
Is this PEGI or
I think it's the ESRB.
ESRB? Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. I'm gonna look at the game ratings.
But I was talking to some friends about it like a couple years ago actually about like games that are rated A. It's like when it gets to that point, it's no longer about the story. It's no longer about the gameplay. It's no longer about having fun playing a game. It's all about the things that make it rated A. It's all about like the explicit content and nothing else really. And not that a whole lot of people will see this video, but you know, some people might say that it's ignorant of me to say that, and that's fair because I myself have never played a rated A game, and I don't really have an interest in doing so. But for all I know, there's a rated A game out there that has an outstanding story that I'm missing out on. You know, I don't know.
So okay, I'm looking at the website. There's E10 plus, teen, M, mature 17 plus. There's adults only, A, adults only 18 plus, and RP, rating pending. So adults only may include prolonged scenes of intense violence, graphic, sexual content, and/or gambling with real currency. So it has to be intense or graphic, or gambling.
Yeah. And
Okay, so and
it's
the
like
difference with mature.
the equivalent. I feel that the equivalent of an M-rated game in films is rated R. But
Really?
with
I feel like I feel like rated R is kind of like both a adults only and mature.
yeah, it could be, I guess.
I mean, it is a little confusing. It says mature also has intense violence, blood and gore, sexual content, and/or strong language, but that's kind of a lot of overlap with adults only. Oh, bless you.
Thank you. Oh man. Alright. I said
Yeah,
earlier.
you did say you were gonna
in
be
the chat that
sneezy.
I was sneezy. Yeah. I've been sneezy today.
Yeah, like they both say intense violence, so I don't really know what the real difference is between mature and adults only, other than
I believe that with M, it's that the content can be like very sexually suggestive and sexually provocative, but not sexually explicit's not the right word to use, but
I guess suggestive.
well, I already
I
said
guess.
suggestive.
Oh yeah. I think teen is suggestive, right? Isn't that
It
what?
can be a little bit suggestive, but
Yeah,
when it
suggest
gets to a
violence,
certain
suggestive
point,
themes,
it
crude
becomes
humor.
rated M. And I feel that
I
with
feel-
A, it goes from the territory of being like sexually suggestive or like innuendo. It goes from that to being just straight up pornographic.
Let's see. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Hatred. I'm just looking at like rated AO games on Wikipedia. Okay, so there is a Grand Theft Auto that is A,
Really?
but I guess that's kind of like, Yeah, Hatred. I remember a lot of what's this controversy with that?
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny because it's like there's nothing about the gameplay itself that kind of merits that other than the visuals, right?
Well,
And the theme.
Didn't
I don't know. I don't know much about Hatred.
Didn't the team behind Grand Theft Auto actually purposefully create controversy about the game.
Oh yeah,
Get
yeah,
people talking
yeah. They
about
did
it.
because it was free publicity.
Yeah.
Or actually, no wait. Oh, there's actually a very interesting story about that. There's like one of the someone at the studio hired a politician to actually make controversial statements just for publicity. And this politician is actually like a criminal. It's so weird. It's such an interesting, like, I think I'll share a video about that later. It's pretty fascinating.
I'm trying a new strategy of firing my fireballs before going across a barricade so that I can take out any.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a
on
good
the other side.
strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like I don't know that many of these games other than Grand Theft Auto and
Whoops.
Hatred.
Yeah, because I'm starting to get into that territory again where there are a lot of barricades, which I believe must mean that I'm
barricade.
getting close to surpassing my previous score. Oh well, there we go. No, wow.
Oh wow, 150.
I was still a little ways off.
150, 2,100. Okay, last round.
Yeah, let's. All right.
If it lasts for more than a minute.
Yeah. All right, let's do this.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like with what was it? Yeah, with you just dropped your the second chapter of the Gabriel story, right?
Yes.
And I'm yet to read that, so
Okay.
yeah, like
I
the whole time when
figured
you're
that.
yeah, the whole time when you were talking about when I was asking questions about the whole Halo power, I just thinking to myself, wait, I shouldn't have asked that. I should just keep reading.
Well, it won't be explained. The specifics of the Halo won't be explained in episode 2.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, I'm just
I'm
like
not
I just mean like in
planning to,
general.
Yeah. I'm not planning to
Like the whole long term.
reveal that part of it until like episode 4. Currently, like I have like a pretty loose idea of like how I want things to go for like when I want events to happen, where I'm like excuse me, where I'm like okay, I want like to introduce this character in episode X and this character in episode Y and have this happen in episode Z, you know, like
just loose plans, right?
but they're very loose plans. I don't have like the specifics worked out yet.
And it's like every writer has their whole process when they're grading, but it's like a topic for another time because I'm sure that's really in depth. But
Yeah.
I was gonna
Talk about
ask
it
you
after.
as well. Yeah, I forgot to ask like before you introduced the energy mechanic to the Halo. Were you actually thinking of that before I mentioned it, or?
I wasn't really, to be honest. I just didn't really think that the character would have issues with becoming too powerful, but then I realized multiple, like actually in-universe and in-story reasons as to why that's a legitimate concern to have, you know, aside from just, oh, the character might be too powerful. Or become too powerful, rather.
Yeah, like I believe that I actually mentioned that when you brought up the idea in the chat in the call, I brought up the whole how do you prevent power creep because I recently watched one of Anthony Hicks' videos about like power creep. The guy who does the world building series,
Right.
and like he also has a lot of Avatar stuff as well. I see that you're like shooting before the barricade. That's a smart idea. And I also that in conjunction with a manga that I read relatively recently before that time, and like I read through the entire thing, and like at the very end, like for some reason the main character was just essentially God, with no explanation
Oh, wow.
how they even got that much power. Like they were off screen for the majority of the final arc, but it was kind of rushed so much, and like it's not very satisfying that she was able to gain like time, like essentially like time travel powers, like where she could duplicate herself. I don't know how that happened, and I think that they could have done a better job at explaining that.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily want to say that that's like lazy writing, because
It's just like you just forget, right? I guess
yeah,
if you
it's
don't
like
put
because
that in mind.
writing is not easy, man. You know.
Yeah.
And I
It's
believe
just stuff
that
you gotta keep in mind. Of.
there's no such thing as a perfect writer. And I mean that extends into all sorts of things. You know, there's no such thing as a perfect football player or a perfect video game.
Yeah, there's only a
creator, you know?
best,
Yeah,
right? And there's only one best, and we can't all be the
And-
best.
And even the best, has
Even the best
to
isn't
improve in
perfect,
some
yeah.
places. You know,
Yeah.
I believe that when it comes to writing and just about anything that you are constantly improving, and I think that anybody who thinks that they can reach a point where they don't need to improve anymore is kidding themselves.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You think you understand, you don't. It's like the whole quote about if you think anyone who thinks they understand quantum physics, they don't. Essentially, it's the same thing. But yeah, like I mean, I guess even the best, right, also have their limits.
Yeah.
Like you can't like there's even artists and like athletes have their own power ceiling, right? Okay, like to put it back to the whole power creep thing, you can't power creep in real life, so
Yeah.
it makes more sense that it gets a little slower when you just start polishing the whole finer details.
Right. That's why
Yeah,
I
at some
didn't
point
wanna
you gotta
that
say-
it's lazy writing because I'm sure that they did put a lot of work and time into writing that story. It
Yeah.
just so happens that
Also, there's also
they
like
made
things
some
like
mistakes in
deadlines.
some places, or
Yeah,
or they were still improving, and so I mean, look at if you were to read it, some of my own earlier works, I think you'd find that Roundtable, yeah, that they had lots of room for improvement. And that's not to say that the stuff I make now doesn't. I absolutely believe that it does.
yeah, we all have.
But I look at those older stories and I don't really think like, man, that story sucked, even if it did. Instead, I think, wow, I've come a long way.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's not like you're looking at your older and then cringe. It's like
Yeah.
like that, like
I mean, I
most
do
people
cringe
do.
from my old stories, but
Yeah, but it's not like the whole overwhelming. It's still interesting to know like your own personal progress.
yeah.
Like to me, when I look back at my older drawings, like, huh. I usually like, huh, that's interesting. Like that style developed from this, and then sometimes if I'm having a bad art day, I'm like, huh, I drew better than I do now. What happened? Like sometimes there are things that I've done in the past that are actually really good that I have trouble replicating today.
Yeah.
I think it's a thing that many artists have to struggle through as well. Because like, we're not all consistent at our put-through rate. Yeah, like quality. Yeah, we all have like our constraints.
Really needed that help. Oof.
Yeah, well.
Ooh, that was nice.
Oh wow.
Play the game. Oops. What? How did I miss that? How did I miss that?
Yeah, this is slippery.
Yeah, it's because the controls are slippery, yeah. Yeah, there's an example. I'm sure that whoever made this game, they went on to work on another game, and
Yeah.
they realized, like,
Yeah, how old is
hey,
this
like,
game?
my old game Critical Impact, like, it had issues with the controls being slippery. So, you know, maybe in their newer game they fixed that. And they improved.
How old is this game, actually?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. We can check when it's over. We can
Yeah.
check if the if there's like a date on the
On Flashpoint?
or not on Flashpoint. I don't think Flashpoint has the date. Maybe like in the credits or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Or I could just look it up
I
online.
actually don't know if there are credits.
Yeah, like they don't usually have credits just licensed like this.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird, but yeah, you know, early internet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't remember exactly how the story went, but I'll substitute in an example that works just as well.
Okay. Ooh.
We'll do one more quick run.
All right, just
Because I want to tell the story. So, this is a story that Dan from the Game Grumps actually told on their show.
Oh.
That one time he went into like a guitar shop, and he took a guitar off the wall and he was playing it, and some guy walked up to him and was like, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, I'm just playing the guitar." And the guy says, "Why?" And he says, "Oh, well, I mean, I don't know, I like it, and I want to become better at it. I want to become as good as Van Halen." I don't remember if Van Halen was actually the musician that he
Yeah,
said,
just
but
an example.
yeah, it's just the example that I'm substituting in. And the guy said, "Good luck." And Dan finished telling that story to Aaron, and Aaron said, like, Van Halen had his first day too. Like, you know, there was a time when Van Halen sucked at guitar too. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
he struggled. You know, he had to take a lot of time to get to the point where he was able to play the guitar
it takes a lot
as
of effort.
amazingly as he did.
You gotta put credit to the whole effort thing, or you know, how much more time that people put into what because most of the time we just see the finished product, right?
Right, and
It's
that's
kind of like
yeah,
in baking shows where they show we did this yesterday, but we're gonna do this whole thing preparing the cake,
yeah,
but we already prepared one the other day just to save time. But you know, it's kind of like we don't see that time of how long we have to wait and how long we have to sharpen our skills.
right. And I mean,
Just to
especially
get to the point where
nowadays,
we are
like,
right now. Yeah, with
we've
it's social
developed
media.
a hatred for waiting. And maybe it's been that way for a very long time, but we just didn't complain about it. Our ancestors didn't complain about it because it was just like, you know, what are we supposed to do? It's just the way things are. And eventually we got to the point where we developed technology that was efficient enough where we didn't have to wait as long. And so now
No, we're too used to the speed.
we're too used
yeah.
to the speed. Yeah, exactly. We're too used
Yeah.
to the speed of life being like
Like light speed, yeah.
light speed. Yeah.
And that's why humanity will never recover from the invention of the internet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, the internet, it's given us some really great things, but I won't deny that, you know, it's also introduced some problems into society.
Yeah, some unique problems.
Yeah. And I mean, that I feel like even though I know that we're too impatient to live, I still struggle with that. I still struggle with being impatient to live.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that too. Like, sometimes I
Yeah.
have trouble reading text as well, because I feel like I want to do something else.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Like, most of the time I usually, like, while I'm drawing, I gotta listen to something in the background, or, like, watch another thing in the background as I'm drawing, or else I'm gonna get bored of drawing, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't the problem that old painters had when they were out in the open and just, you know,
Yeah.
painting a landscape. like usually also while I'm playing a game, I do the same. I usually have either a podcast or just a video in another tab.
Yeah, all the time. Like I'll play Smash Bros. And I'll be watching listening to rather a video while I'm doing that. And you know,
it's tough to like try to not multitask
Yeah.
and just focus.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. I mean, even like when I'm writing my stories, I'll put on music. And I
There's
didn't
nothing
used
wrong
to do
about that. It's just like
Well,
our
well, I
obsession
didn't
with
used to do
sensory.
that. Is that like when I wrote Shadows, and even Round Table, when I wrote those, I wrote them in complete silence. No other stimuli whatsoever, just me and the story and the characters. You know, the characters were my only company. And I don't know if, like, my writing has suffered because I now crave that extra bit of stimulus from music. If it does, then I haven't noticed it.
Yeah, that's an interesting
because I may be ignorant
question.
to it, or blind
I don't
to
know
it.
how you'd be able to measure that
Right.
scientifically.
Yeah, that's
That's
the thing.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like a correlation between. I guess you could measure effectiveness with like whether you're like I guess with menial tasks, not specifically art, right? Because it's a little. Let's say like you're making a bunch of cakes, you're decorating a bunch of cakes, right? You can kind of inspect the quality of the cakes if you're listening to music or watching a show in the background as you're decorating the cakes.
Right.
And yeah, there's a way there. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
a very
or, like,
interesting
your,
idea for an experiment.
I mean, there are people who, like, while they're at their jobs, you know, working as like a plumber or whatever, they bring like an MP3 player or their phone or a boombox or something with them so that they can listen to music while they do
A
that.
Walkman.
And
Yeah.
or a Walkman, yeah. But
Remember Walkman?
you don't look at that and say like that's odd. But
Yeah.
nowadays it's not. At least I don't think it is at all uncommon to
To have people's heads jacked into their black rectangles in their palms? Yeah.
yeah, and like it's not uncommon to enjoy art while you are working, but it's also becoming less, it's also not becoming uncommon to enjoy art while making other art. You know, which is kind of
Yeah.
a funny.
There's
thing to
nothing
think
wrong
about,
with that,
but-
right? We have to say, like, it's not...
Right.
There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just an interesting thing that we gotta deal with.
Oh my gosh, check out my score.
Oh, gosh. Only you got 96 more. Okay, I think
All right.
I think we're gonna end the video here.
Yeah.
One request though, can you play the game with the vertical stretch, just so we can see
Yes.
where the meters are coming from? Alright, finally the end.
What?
Oh yeah, if you play or hold on, I don't know how they do this. Oh, they don't do it.
Wow.
Oh, it's actually cropped. Okay,
Yeah,
I
it's
see.
cropped.
Huh,
There's got to
well,
be some
it's
other
worth
way to
finding
do
out.
it, though, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure
probably
there
I'll have
is,
to go
yeah.
into the code. But
All right. let me
Anyway.
just- Okay.
that was our episode of an interesting talky episode of It Doesn't Work.
Yeah, it's a very podcasty kind of episode.
Yeah. We might do more of these depending on what we feel like.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for watching this episode of It Doesn't Work. The world just ended. And,
Oh my gosh.
we will see you all next time.
Bye. Also, yeah, oh my gosh, Ben actually in this game has no hope of ever saving the Earth because it never stops.
Yeah.
What a cruel fate.